Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Dr. Bosky, and today we're taking a look at Dr. Tan's playthrough of Interstellar Sentinel 2 0.6.1 build. For the reference, people are like, who's Dr. Tan? Us fake doctors need to, apologies if you're an actual doctor, need to stick together because I'm a Dr. Bosky. And that's part of my my mystique, my charm, my assumed title for video games, my doctorate in video games, because it's silly and it doesn't exist. So this gentleman here was seen in the wild over at Shmup Slam 7. And they were doing a playthrough, and a high score. Was pretty awesome to hang out. We did that in real life as well. So, and they are getting their Gwangi on. So, super cool. Which reminds me, I need to come back and play. I've never really played Gwangi, so sounds super cool. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're going to review this. So I'm going to be quiet. I've got my caffeine. I've done the rounds, and let's get started.
All right, everyone. This is Dr. Tan. Hello, Dr. Bosky, and the crew, and everyone taking part in the alpha testing here. So this run is just shy of 600 mil. I just thought that we would go through the thing together here, and I would kind of like pause here and there and kind of give some opinions on different sections, and possibly, you know, point out a couple of bugs that I found here and there as well. So with that,
600
we'll get into
pretty good
it.
super score, by the way. I'm doing this ahead of their art team meeting coming up in just an hour from now. So hopefully this video doesn't go too long. I know it's 30 minutes.
So I guess the first thing I just want to point out, not that you know it really matters, but if you do get any points in that beginning section there, you know, in the training area, they actually do pass over into this area here. So you know, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, you can sit there.
Yeah, you could
and
just
get
sit there
higher
and
scores.
just rack up a ton of points and come in here.
It'll get fixed. Definitely.
I've done it, but you know, I think you could do it. So anyway, the first bit of this stage, nothing really to talk about. I think it totally does exactly what it's supposed to do. I think it's like does a really serviceable job of teaching the player, giving them some easy enough sections to kind of figure out when you should be bombing to get medals and recharging your bomb, and when to use it again. I think it does exactly what it's meant to do. So yeah, nothing really too much to talk about here. I do want to say I really appreciate that all the like quips and stuff, like before you start the boss and stuff, are randomized.
Yeah.
That could have gotten grading very quickly, but I really appreciate that you made sure to put in some random dialogue there.
We're definitely, what am I? Yeah, this is plot poker. Okay. This is the that's definitely good to know. So I still need to add some randomizers for the quip system at the beginning of the level and then the end. But I'm glad that you actually noticed that. You're the first person to actually notice, and I'm glad that that's creating a little extra flavor. So
these guys right here, if I can pause this before they no, they are already dead. Dialogue there that.
Guys.
You made sure to put in some random dialogue there. These guys right here, if I can pause this before they no, they are already dead. Those little balls with the turrets, I have had it happen a number of times here where the turret survives, but the body dies. And what actually ends up happening is the turret just floats around trying to take pot shots at you.
Jesus. Okay. I'll try to figure that out. Large robonoids. I've seen it on occasion, but never with the missile guys. Robonoids. It's possible for turret to survive. I'll double check the script on that. Awesome.
But you can't kill it because the body's already dead. So I'm not sure how I got that to happen, but I had it happen a couple of times actually. And you can't kill the turret, but it'll keep going through
Yeah, it's super
the
janky.
motions until it's supposed to leave the screen. The first thing I kind of want to talk about here, why I paused it, is this chain meter here. I think you have changed it so that we don't drop the chain multiplier during the boss, which is great. Um, but I think just even for testing purposes here, if like you're going into the boss and this chain multiplier timer just maxes out, and then I don't know, you just like put some text over it that says locked or chain held or something like that, so that I'm aware that it's not actually supposed to be dropping. Because right now it's dropping, refilling, which is fine. Except that once we get to a later section in the stage, it does something similar, which is actually really confusing. So,
All right.
just so that I understand as a player what's actually happening when we're going into the boss here, that's all. So going into the boss, this is going to be kind of like where most of my concern is at the moment. And I'll show you why very quickly. So after I did this run, I watched a couple of other people's runs, and I noticed pretty much the exact same pattern of what was happening. So here, unless I'm missing any scoring stuff with bosses, it just seems like you're just supposed to bomb, get medals, and that is the same during the bosses. The problem, you're just
Let me
supposed
take
to
a
boss
quick look real quick.
after all. Um, so
Okay, so it is procking. So okay, at first because he was talking about the maintainer, the combo maintainer here. I thought that he didn't have the build that I actually put this in.
going
So,
into my,
okay.
I'll show you why very quickly. So after I did this run, I watched a couple of other people's runs, and I noticed pretty much the exact same pattern of what was happening. So here, unless I'm missing any scoring stuff with bosses, it just seems like you're just supposed to bomb, get medals, and that is the same during the bosses. The problem is that you'll see right here, I'm just staying in the middle. There's no real threat here. And as soon as the threat does come, you just bomb it. You grab a bunch of medals, get a ton of points, and then we're going to rinse and repeat for every single one of these phases. So we're going to sit right here in a safe spot. We are completely safe. I don't have to do a damn thing. We're going to wait until the aim shots start to appear, and then we'll just bomb it. We'll cash in on all these medals, and then again, we're going to do the exact same thing. It's sort of like this mini around the world pattern here-ish. Then when any bullets start to interfere with that, we just bomb right out of it again. And then we'll do that the fourth time as well. Just a big old safe spot right in the center of the screen. So you can see here we have this nice containment pattern. And it's fine to have containment patterns. It's just that there's nothing that I have to dodge within the containment pattern. So we're just going to sit here until the boss is about half health. As soon as some aim shots actually appear, I'm just going to bomb out of it anyway. We're going to like get all these stars, and already we've got 350 million, and we didn't actually really fight a boss. We just kind of just sat there in some very comfortable safe spots, and then just bombed out of it. So I think my idea here, and I'll kind of get into more of what the idea is when we get to the final boss of the stage, but I think bombs need to be basically off limits for the boss. And not necessarily off limits, but I think it might be a good idea to, if you bomb during the boss, so up here you'll see we have our multiplier, our chain combo is at 300. And I think bombing on the boss needs to drop that, you know, however you like. Typically, I think Cave does a 30% drop for your chain. I think Crimson Clover does the same 30% for your break rates. That's seems like that's been the standard, because all that's happening is that you're spamming on the boss. You're not actually fighting the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you were just taking let's say a blue revolver double action approach, where you're rewarded, you're getting the bonus basically for not using your hyper, not using your bombs. I think that's what has to happen, because as it is right now, you're skipping every single phase. So I think bombs possibly need to decrease your multiplier as a penalty, and then if you defeat the boss without the bombs, then you're still going to get the cash in. Blow up the boss, turn everything into metals as if it was a bomb or whatever. You get it at the multiplier you're at, and you still get to cash in. But I think definitely need to stop bomb use on the bosses, or at least penalize it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
This next section here, I just paused.
Let me think on that a little bit. So, for the most part, the bomb spots, the way you discovered and played, I definitely am rewarding players for doing that. I do agree that adjusting scoring, or adjusting or pausing scoring, or adjusting the rate also could be quite useful. I think the other thing that you're responding to, which is fine too, is that when right now these patterns are they're not necessarily super player patterns, right? Like I have now on my list of the things to design is by letting you come into the boss and having kind of a high score gate. So if you are, for instance, 240 million, or whatever that may have been when you were kind of coming into this, or 300 million, that the boss, like, you'll have still the lasers and all that, but you'll have a lot more intensity with bullets. So as you progress and improve in terms of scoring, the game gets harder. It's kind of like a poor man's rank system there. So yeah, I mean, chaining supers, that's a thing. I mean, because the thing is that bullets, when they get canceled, feed your super meter. And we have a lot of bullets. So if you use your super, when you have a lot of bullets, you almost get a free super out of that. I like the daisy chain aspect of that. But I also understand that it basically nullifies you go from trying to understand how to defeat the boss to then obliterating the boss, and that's not nearly as fun. So I'll need to think on that a little bit here. So let me take a note. Let's see here. Super chaining drop, chain on said drop, chain combo super. Consider disabling bullet cancel super. I can definitely remove the bullet cancel on super, and that will make it you'll have a lot less bomb spam at that point. I'll need to think on that a little bit. And definitely, these are things I'd want to do at different difficulty levels, because I think it's sort of like a rite of passage to figure out like how to get in the right spots, use your bomb at the right time, and even building that muscle. So for players, and I want them to be rewarded for that. But I think, for instance, turning on and off the bullet canceling for supers, based on difficulty level, I think that would also be helpful here. Okay, cool, awesome, good feedback.
Here, because I did want to mention this, where all this debris is coming down. Mm-hmm. I find this section to be a little annoying, just because we just destroyed the boss, and I haven't been rewarded with my, my shmup boss explosion. And I've never been hit by these things. It's not like this is a problem section or anything where it's difficult. It's just kind of annoying that you have to watch out for this debris when what I want to be doing is watching all the debris fall and crash down in the background. And you got all these like pipes and vents and, you know, gas lines or whatever. Like I want to see all these things like pop off and uh, I don't actually mean pop off. Like I know it's still artwork, but like have like flare effects and explosions and stuff in the background. And really get rewarded here for this. And instead, immediately, I'm just kind of like really just having to watch for these, pieces of debris, and it's kind of annoying because you can't shoot upwards. You can only shoot straight. Um, that's sort of like the 5 or 6 seconds that I just want to chill and enjoy an explosion and enjoy the reward of defeating the boss.
Yeah, that's fair feedback.
I think I've had well.
That's fair feedback. I think my school of design in this particular case is 6 seconds of downtime is kind of an eternity. I mean, I am a little bit more forgiving when it comes to like the lead-in, but I'm definitely not going over the sort of Akai Katana Shin, which is about 16, 18 seconds, which also is an eternity. So that's food for thought. I'll think about that a little bit. But I guess my school of thought is that I'd rather you be playing and interacting than just watching. But maybe so I do have on my list of things for sure to sauce up the boss defeat a little bit more. So I could retime that a little bit where I give you 3-4 seconds of glorious destruction because this isn't final. And then we could kick into the interactive bit and maybe go from there. So, okay, I'll think about that. Hold off on debris timing. Let's just take a look again.
I don't know if it's defeating the boss.
Take a look here.
Free, and it's kind of really just here, but like have been.
Oh, he paused it. So.
Where it's explosion. I'm gonna, just because I'm here to pause the bomb. Right now, we're gonna like million, and already we've got like of it anyway. Half health. These stars spots actually appear. I'm just gonna bomb out of it anyway. We're gonna like get all these stars.
All right, so we got the debris. That's stars. So we've got 617,
and already we've got like 350 million. The boss. We just kind of just.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll
30 seems
take that in consideration.
Stop.
What do we
Here
have?
Run. Well, I don't know if it's defeating the boss. I chill and enjoy an explosion and enjoy the reward of defeating the boss. I think I've had a bug. Well, I don't know if it's a bug, and that's why I bring this up. Typically, every second time I do a run, I don't get this top worm. I only get this bottom worm. So this is one of the sort of rare runs where I actually got both of these ones.
So the top one, which just makes the sequence a little bit harder because it takes up more space. It's tied to whether or not you killed all of the debris. So if you miss some of the debris falling, there's a little bit of dynamicism here. I'm trying to reduce the difficulty and create a little bit of like a little bit of causality for players to help ease that skill gap a bit. I'm glad you noticed though. Thank you.
I don't actually know how many of these cyber worms or whatever that you're supposed to get, but it just seems very random, and I don't know if that's a bug or not. Sorry, there's no sound for this. It's just I can't really have the sound while I'm recording.
Oh, nice. He did get the top one, by the way. He got the extra damage in there. Those things are really chonky because they're the boss arms.
These next guys coming up, I don't know if it's just because of that they're like pseudo aim shots or something like that. But these bullets are super wonky when they shoot out. I don't know if that's intentional or if that's just something that's going to get cleaned up later. But even the way those bullets fire, sort of follow and then stop following, I don't actually know what these guys are supposed to be doing. And so that's just a really really weird shot that I think just needs to be cleaned up or something, because I don't know what's going on there.
All right. Well, I mean, it's interesting. They have a lightly aimed shot at the player, but they're not full aim because I didn't want them to change you around homing wise. So we can talk about it. Let me see here. Content after boss. All right. Let's see here. Those guys are peacekeeper drones, wonky shots, expectation. Interesting.
That's a nice fun little cancel there.
Wait, what's the
something, because I don't know what's going on there. That's a nice fun little cancel there.
With all from the monster trophy. Yeah. I think that was good. Good. I'm glad Dr. Tan's like, I'm having fun, so that's important. So Dr. Tan is just in the zone watching the gameplay, I think, right now. Looking for that bullet cancel.
Again, those bullets I just don't know where they're supposed to be going there.
I think part of it is also maybe what he's responding to is depending on how close you get to the peacekeeper drones, that will create wonky rotations. That might be the thing. I can take a look at that. Maybe I could just turn them into an aim shot as opposed to having a hard rotation on them. But I wanted them to be able to shoot. I don't know. I can take a look at it. All right, let's see how he does with this.
So this section here, I just wanted to mention something here. Is all of these warning sort of caution lines on the sides of all of these terrain spots. Honestly, I really don't think they're necessary. One, they are way wider than they need to be, so it's a little misleading. But the real reason is honestly, it's terrain and it's on fire. The player should really know not to run into that because of that, and because of just like how big these things are, and that they're translucent and they're half over top of these burning laser pieces. I actually just think it just makes the artwork that I want to be looking at. It's just kind of like covering it up, and you're not like able to, you just got like this half translucent or transparent image over top of it. Just take it away and let me just see these like burning things. I really think the player's going to know. Well, I hope anyway, not to run into these things. And yeah, I just think it would look cleaner because this just does look a little messy.
Yeah.
And I just think it would just look a lot nicer, and we could just enjoy these like.
Agreed. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't. Everyone runs into them the first time. They sort of learn. It's a tough one. So I definitely agree that not having them attached would make it visually less crazy. So I don't know. I mean, it's easy enough for me to turn off for the most part. Laser towers, turn off. But I mean, the other side of it, look, I guess some of it too, right, is that your bullets, the problem you run into, right, is that you have the astral projection weapon, which passes through, so you don't necessarily get a good sense that those are collision areas. You do with your rapid shot. You know, I mean, is it the end of the world if people run into them once or twice and then find out like that they have collision? Maybe not. Turn off warning indicators. Also, one other thing I have in the space is there's a lot of destruction particles, so I might have went a little ham with that. So I might tone those down a little bit. Do a pass on destruction. Particles. Tone them down a bit to reduce visual noise. Yeah, okay. All right. Interesting. Let's go.
Burning things. Instead, it's very busy, especially because, as you can see as we're going through it, those yellow caution ones, they're very, very animated and very, very busy. And, you know, it's a shmup, but my eyes are supposed to be focused on bullets and laser beams and stuff. So I just kind of think, you know, it would just look nicer if I could look at all those like cool little fire effects that you have, you know, underneath there. So this section here, I did want to mention because on repeated playthroughs, because I did like a 6 or a 7 hour stint of just like crushing this level just to, you know, figure out what annoyed me and what didn't. And this section, every time I came to it, I went, this section. It needs more. Just because we've got these 3 highways coming up, and it's just, you know, they each have these 4 enemies, and, you know, they're only ever going to get like 1 shot off before they're dead anyway. So you just kind of like sit there, do the next one, move up, you know, wait. Do the next one, move up,
yep,
wait.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's you know, rinse and repeat like 3 times. And it's just that scene right there, because this does go on for a bit, like it must be like, you know, we're still going here. And it's just in a shmup when you're repeating a level over and over, like these kind of sections get really noticeable. So yeah, I don't know. I think it just needs something else to.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I'm glad you called it out because I've been thinking about it as well. You know, I'm introducing the new enemies. Some players, of course, until they figure out how to kill the enemies, they don't get to that point where they feel they're, you know, they're feeling the pressure, right? They get overwhelmed by the bullets, all the crazy stuff, right? So the other thing is that I have in the game with ground enemies and turrets, you have a bullet ceiling and an auto melee attack. And what I have done is, because the other way is true, is that if you auto melee attack the enemies, I have dynamic enemy spawns that come from that. So auto melee attacks also give you the ability to get more score. So it's sort of one of those things. But the thing is, it's so tucked in there that it's not on the first or second ones, but it's meant to be there for players that are chasing the extra high score. But it doesn't quite. It's a little too tucked away because you have to discover it, right? So yeah, okay. Let me have a think on that. So I mean, I could definitely add popcorn enemies if you. When you kill them. So I got to think about what that would look like too. So, yeah. All right. So, but let me take a note. I don't really have the quite solve here, but I'm happy to, I feel absolutely happy to laser tank, add dynamic spawns for, oh, you know what I can do? I know what I can do. I can script it to where if you kill them extra fast. So like I could put it in there where if you don't kill them within 3 seconds that they're alive, then you don't get the dynamic spawns. But if you do, because you kind of, I mean, now you're 6 or 7 hours down the road, like I can see how it's getting boring. So I can make it more, so you're more juggling at that point. Spawns for killing tanks within 3 seconds. Now I still have to I have to balance that against the melee attack as well. So maybe you get both, because it would fill that gap. I mean, I've already got the spawns in there. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe I just, instead of tying it to melee, I can just tie it to destruction. All right. Tie dynamic enemy spawns from melee to the same thing. There we go. That is a good insight. All right, awesome.
Add a little more danger in there, because as it stands, that last 30 seconds is pretty much danger-free.
Oh, I got you.
So as you saw earlier, I think this guy just leaves you alone if you don't shoot him, which is pretty fun.
Yeah. It's a silly thing. I kind of like the design in that if you decide as a player that you want to take in the sights, you don't want to do anything, totally up to you, because it doesn't really break anything. And then the moment the moment you actually start doing damage, at least a little bit of damage, then it's on. So I can go either way, but it's something I put into my games because it doesn't really hurt anything in that case. Now, from a design perspective, especially from a School of K perspective, like when bosses show up, they're usually dictating the pace, right? Like it's a big moment. So it definitely is counter to that a little bit. Instead of just showing up and saying, hey, it's go time now. I can see an argument for that as well. Happy to chat about that. Thank you for the feedback, though.
So the first pattern here, I don't really have any problems with at all. But this one here is where everything starts to get a little too chaotic. And this is kind of where, we have a lot of like flare effects and explosions and lighting effects in the game. And
you mean visually? Yeah, we're working on it.
Starting from here, kind of to the finish, is where I think a lot of these effects start overlapping a little too much.
Mm-hmm. I've already.
So we're going to have these guys, these pieces of building coming in from the back, and then we're going to have these half, translucent laser beams that are, warning me of other laser beams. Then you have like these kind of translucent red caution things coming from the top. His head's already glowing as well. And then as soon as we get these up and down ones, they kind of do this red glow thing. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they do this red glow thing, honestly, I think they disappear into the background. I almost want to say it even looks like one of these buildings in the background. And as soon as this starts happening with these up and down pieces, that's where my eyes lose complete and total track of them. They basically become non-existent to me. And I think this is where things start getting a little too crazy, because you've got these lasers, you've got these aim shots, you've got these things coming in from the background. It kind of becomes a little too chaotic, and I'll kind of showcase that in the next section here. So this is the section that I was saying I think the chain timer is a little weird. So the chain timer keeps coming down, and then all of a sudden it refills before this section. And I am wondering if that's on purpose.
It is.
Because the transition from each of these scenes here is so slow. But having this sort of we're changing it up, and now the chain timer is just going to reset for you because there isn't enemies to sustain it. Just feels like we're changing the rules. And so either once we started fighting that boss head, if we just go into this locked state again. We're in a boss fight here. You know, bombs aren't allowed or whatever, because if you do, it'll drop your multiplier for the upcoming final boss here or something. And then you can just keep this maxed out. But it just seems weird because it looks like I'm going to drop the chain and then just like kind of comes back again. It's like, just kidding. We're fine. But I paused here because this is the scene where everything kind of goes crazy. So
I'll add
all these effects here.
Yeah, so I'll definitely add the text to help indicate what's going on. Ideally, it would be so one of the things I'm doing right now is I have scripted it this way because I don't have the ability to frankly pause and unpause the chain combo meter. But I definitely have the ability because I've run logic. This is me doing like a poor man's version of kind of keeping it going. And I can definitely put up some text there. But I also have a request over on the engine side to be able to have the pausing and unpausing of the chain combo meter. So, and yes, I know exactly what you're talking about here. Definitely don't pass.
Like all these flare effects or whatever, all the stars that you're collecting, even the trail that you leave, for when enemies touch you or touch them, they blow up or whatever. Everything is overlaid on top of the danger. So all these pieces that are dangerous to me are actually underneath all these effects. And as soon as this starts happening, because again, they're coming from everywhere. This piece again is bright red. There's red everywhere. They're all glowing red to warn you that they're there. But, as the saying goes, if everything is important, then nothing is important. Yeah. And that's kind of what happens here is everything is glowing red because it's all bad, but everything is red, and so all I'm seeing is red. And then, of course, all these effects are overlaying on top of it. So this scene is just really too chaotic, and it just kind of feels like a cheap shot. And this is kind of where I did take the miss in the run. So I do feel like, it kind of felt like a cheap shot. And even
it's alpha. That's exactly why we're play testing. So great feedback. Definitely know exactly what you're talking about here. I've taken a note. I'm taking a note real quick. I don't think I can force the building storm enemies to appear over the particles. There's some layering, visual layering that I can explore here as well. I've definitely toned it down a bit more. I think I've reduced the sparks on the star gems that come from destroying the enemies. So, and I definitely appreciate that. So thank you.
As everything is blowing up right now, I can barely tell what's even happening in the replay. So this section here, not a huge fan of for that part. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. It's great feedback.
And then again here, same thing. I really think the real estate that all of these warning things are taken up on the screen is just I think it's just doing a disservice to the art underneath. So it's not really like a criticism. It's more that
it's totally a criticism.
I would like to see the nice artwork, but instead all these things are just
it's fair. Don't worry.
I just don't think it's really necessary. Because it's pretty obvious, that you're not supposed to be running into them.
Yeah, the thing is that we only know each other. We only know from our own perspective. Like you are a high-end player. There are things that you know about shmups that you just don't think about anymore. And for other players, especially players that are more new or inexperienced with the genre, they need more hand holding. Now, I mean, there's an argument for it being said. You run into the tower once or twice, you're gonna start to learn, and that's just part of the experience, right? So I don't really have a way to do it well dynamically. I do into some cases. I can bring up like maybe a single warning sign that shows at the beginning when you learn about the enemies in the first kind of laser grid field. And maybe I could do that. So no, agreed though. It's definitely a good point taken.
So coming into the boss here, we are going to have the same exact problems that we had with the first boss, which is I'm just going to bomb it, and then we're done. And then, get a whole bunch of medals while we were at it. Unfortunately, I took the miss, so I didn't have a multiplier, so I didn't not getting any points, but I would have. And then we're going to have the same problem pretty much with this boss after this first phase here.
You think problem, I feel gameplay feature, but I definitely hear what you're saying.
Right to left and left to right here on the bottom. And then I think I bomb it here. Yep. And so then this is where the problem really starts, is that this looks pretty dangerous, and it probably is pretty dangerous. But we're just going to hang out on the far left side of the screen here. And then before the bullets get to me, they cancel. Before the bullets get to me, they cancel again. And then for the final pattern, I'm just going to cash it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we do that. And then even after I've already cashed it in, you can see I've already recharged my bomb. Mm-hmm. So I just bombed into a bomb, essentially. So technically, I don't even need to do the upcoming around the world pattern. I can just bomb it. But
especially if you get on top. Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't realize I already had the bomb, so then I just bomb it now. But the problem with this around the world pattern is that there's nothing to dodge through the around the world pattern. Following an around the world pattern is really, really easy, especially when you have a focus shot. So
I love it. I love it. Following an around the world pattern is really, really easy, especially when you have a focus shot. He's not wrong, right? But also a super player. So, I mean, I've seen this area grind up a bunch of people. So the good news is, I want to come back through. I'm going to do a secondary layer, and that's why I'm really happy you're playing, because when you talk about the things that are really easy for you, I'm always hesitant because I want to build crazier. Like, I obviously can build crazier. It's easier to make things hard than it is to make things easier. But that also means I like to do it dynamically. So, but I'm going to come in high score gate. I'm going to get you some additional bullet attacks that are only going to come for people in this realm for high score, and we'll go through that. So, and I definitely needed these spots. So I'm really looking forward to, one, me doing the designs for that, and two, seeing you play them. So, yes.
You just slow your movement down and you follow this whole thing, and you could do it for like half an hour if you wanted to. There needs to be things firing at you, or just like random shrapnel bullets or whatever firing from somewhere that you need to move. Like, you're looking for the openings, and you're trying to move through those openings before the laser behind you gets you. You grab as much screen real estate as you can, so that you have enough time to look for the next opening before the laser behind you gets you. But as it stands right now, with just being lasers that you follow, it's not particularly a challenge, especially for it being the final pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yep, all fair.
So,
which, by the way, Dr. Tan right now is setting other players on fire in the community. So I can already hear people watching this and going, "Oh my, no, please no."
So yeah, I think with the bosses, there needs to be just a change up in the style of game it is. Because bombs are way too overpowered on the boss. All they do is prevent you from playing through the bosses, and especially on these last patterns here. These whirlwind patterns kind of actually remind me of the Crimson Clover TLB Phase 1 section, where these things are flying all over the place, and it's a really scary pattern, and that kind of makes it awesome. But because I can just do enough damage to cancel out of it every single time before they get to me, there's no challenge. So the boss either needs more health so that you need to survive it longer. Bombs need to be detrimental to your multiplier so that you're discouraged from using them. something needs to happen, because as it is right now, the style of game isn't compatible with the rest of the stage. Um, the stages work great. You keep your chain up, don't drop it, build up your bomb meter. I think it's kind of like a gun vein type of thing there, where you're just cashing in with your bombs. Wait for a ton of enemies to come on screen, bomb the crap out of them, get the reward, and that's great. And the loop works really, really well for the actual levels. Bombs don't work on the bosses. So definitely just some other kind of thing going on there. I was even thinking, if boss difficulty was actually based on how many times you bomb during the stage. Sort of like a DOJ or something, where every time you hyper, the rank increases.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're going through the level and you're cashing in with all these bombs, getting tons of medals, getting lots of points, and you get to the boss, and then the boss is way more vicious than normal. The boss has more health than normal. I think Gawange has some sections where the more coins you have, the more health the boss has, which is infuriating.
Yeah, I would love that.
That would be a really fun rank system where you are deciding, crap, I don't want to bomb on this boss because I don't want to lower my multiplier. So I'm going to have to sacrifice some points in the previous level, or the actual stage part where you're fighting like the Zacho and stuff like that, and not cash in as much, because I'm just going to jack my rank up too much, and I'm not going to be able to sustain my multiplier, and have that sort of battle Garega battle of rank or something.
Garega's nuts, by the way.
And I think that would actually be really cool and really fun. So that's just an idea. Throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna quit. Hit the stop the recording here, and everyone watching can kind of give some thoughts or whatever they're thinking, and that's the run.
Awesome. Very cool. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Tan, for playing. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for playing with the game long enough to get to the point where you found the good bomb spots. You're really starting to tax the systems, right? All very good stuff. So the good news is a lot of this is on my radar. There's some stuff I have to work around. I don't have the ability to, for instance, dynamically increase boss health based on like rank. So I have the design for a rank system overall in the back of my mind that I've written down, and but I don't have the ability to script one quite yet. I will at some point in probably the next 6 months. But that doesn't necessarily help us here for this. But there are some things I can do. For instance, with making the game harder, I can really think about not having the super gauge be fed by supers. I mean, I like the daisy chain aspect of that, but I got to think about it. So anyways, again, thank you. I'll get this video up. Folks, if you're here, join us in the conversation. Come over to the Discord server. This is Gamecraft right now. We're playtesting alpha builds, and it takes a village. It takes all kinds of different levels of skill. And I'm it's very deeply appreciated and very humbling to have people playing and giving feedback and seeing just the wide range. And we're going to put that back into the soup and continue to make this thing until it's chef's kiss, right? Like, we're already about a year into the project, and, we're not going to drop the ball on this quite yet. So, all right. With that being said, talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody.